Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so that you'll never miss a new episode.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the I Love Dentistry office hours with Gary Takis. Today we have a great topic. It's what we call the heads up conversation. Gary, how are you doing? How is Phoenix on a beautiful September afternoon?
Hey, Aaron, I am doing great. And, Phoenix follows a little bit different weather pattern than most of the country. Most of the country now is beginning to experience fall.
Yes.
Certainly where you are, north of the border in Toronto, you're probably experiencing some beautiful, crisp fall mornings.
Actually, I wore a spring jacket for the first time yesterday. I mean, a fall jacket, I guess.
Yeah, very nice. Well, just to kind of give you an idea, Phoenix has a little different weather pattern. The weather is starting to get nicer, meaning that today it's only going to be 105. So
That's your definition of nice.
Yes, about 105 with nighttime temperatures around 80. It's usually the first week of October when we start to see the weather change. And it doesn't mean the change the way you think of it, but it certainly becomes more bearable for sure. But we kind of have another couple of weeks to kind of grind it out in our summer. September is still a pretty warm month.
Absolutely. Let's jump into our topic today, heads up conversation.
Yeah, this is all about. So to put a kind of a broader context to the discussion of a heads up conversation, we're talking about how to communicate with your patients when you're dropping their PPO plan. So to put it very bluntly, how to communicate with your patients.
So giving them a heads up, pretty much.
We're going to give them a heads up. We're going to let them know something's coming. A couple statements I want to make in advance is when it comes to communication, the experts in communication say that only 7% of a message is made up by the words that you use. Only 7%. Now, that may come as a big surprise to our listeners, our viewers. They know, isn't the whole message the words? No, it's actually only 7%. The other 93% is everything else. It's tone of voice. It's facial expressions. It's volume. It's inflection and pause. It's everything else. And so when we send a written communication out, whether that be in an email or a letter, you're only getting a 7% value of that communication because in an email or a letter, you can't convey the other 93% that constitutes effective communication. Now, Nir, I think all of our viewers, and myself included, and you included, although I've never asked you this, but let me ask you this. Have you ever had to explain a text message that you've sent to someone? No, that's not what I meant.
I have had those experiences. It's really hard sometimes to really communicate through text because it's just one way and you don't, like you said, see the other 95% of the communication, the tone of voice, how you are feeling, how they are feeling. So you can't adjust. You can't really be effective.
Yeah. So because of that, the most effective way to communicate is face-to-face. Is when we get the whole 100% value of the communication instead of just the 7%. So the heads up conversation is all about persuading your patients. It's about letting them know what's coming, in a way that will condition them to be more likely to accept what's coming when it comes. Does that make sense, Nair?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so the heads up conversation is about letting our patients know that there may be a time in the future where we're no longer in network with their PPO plan. Okay.
Right.
So, Naren, can I role play as if I was, let's say, the dentist, and you were the patient? And by the way, this could be said by not only the dentist, but it could be said by any of our team members. It doesn't have to be the dentist. In this case, I'll role play as if I'm the dentist and you're the patient. Fair enough?
Fair enough.
Okay. And here it goes. Hey, Naren, I wanted to give you a heads up that there may be we're having difficulty working with your dental insurance. Let's say you're Delta. I'll pick on Delta because they're the 5,000-pound gorilla. So let me back up. I'm going to use Delta as the example. Naren, it's probably not going to come as a surprise to you that we're having difficulty dealing with your Delta dental insurance. They're becoming harder and harder and harder to work with, especially for me to be able to follow my promise to you as a patient, which is to take care of you like a family member, clinically and behaviorally. So I want to use the best materials. I want to use the best technology. I want to use state-of-the-art labs. I want to use the best, because that's what I'd want as a patient. And they're becoming harder and harder to work with that. And I just want to give you a heads up. There may be a time in the future where we would no longer be contracted with Delta. And if that was to ever happen, Naren, we'd set it up so you could still come here for your care. We will still file your claims like we always have if we did that. And we'd still submit all the documentation, and we would be your advocate to help you get every dollar of benefit that you have. So if that ever happened, we'd set it up that way so you could still come here. And today, as far as today's concerned, nothing's changing. But I just wanted to give you a heads up that might be something coming down the road. And if it does, we'll certainly inform you. And I just wanted to give you a heads up courtesy conversation today. Now, guess what most people say, Naren, when we have that conversation? So nothing changing today?
No.
Nope, Naren. First today's going, everything the same. Okay, thanks. And it probably went in one ear and out the other. But some of that message is going to sit with them. And when we do go out of network, it won't be a surprise. So let's face it. When does anybody want to be surprised in a dental office? The answer to that is never.
Never.
Never. So now it's not going to be a surprise. But I've witnessed this conversation thousands of times. And almost invariably, the patient says, okay, so nothing changing today? Nope. Still the same. And then if that did happen, I could still come here. Yep, you got it, man. You get an A on the test. You get an A. And it's a pleasant conversation.
That's great, Kerry. So
I think the value of that, Naren?
Yeah, I can see the value. I think what it's doing is humans don't like surprises. So number one reason when somebody terminates relationships or ends a relationship is because they're surprised. We all know that Delta is going to send that nasty letter, kind of going to the limits in terms of literally making you sound like the bad guy. So now you're setting it up so they are not surprised. They are not now
Notice
taking
how
Delta's
I started
side.
the conversation. Naren, it's probably not going to be a surprise to you that Delta is becoming harder and harder and harder to work with.
Right.
And especially when it comes to following up on my promise to you. My promise to you is to take care of you as like I would a family member. Now I'm giving them benefit. Those are benefit statements.
Right. And one thing you are really leveraging is you're giving them a reason, a because. And one of the things that we know from Dr. Cialdini's work is when you give people a because, they are much more likely to agree with you or support your thinking. Yeah. So you're giving them a very good because.
But by the way, that's a sign of respect for your patient.
Right.
You're not just doing something and like, here it is.
Yeah.
You're telling them why. And that's a subtle form of respect. And letting them know why we're doing something. So it isn't just random, or it isn't just for some reason that they have to guess. We're telling them why. And most people aren't surprised that Delta, and I could substitute any of the names, Blue Cross Blue Shield, Aetna, Travelers, MetLife. We could substitute any of those. And they're not surprised. They probably had some run-ins with them. And, they're not surprised. They know the insurance company's not on their side.
Exactly.
We're picking sides here. We're telling the patient we are on your side,
right,
to help you get the best care. And with certain patients, now this wouldn't be a standard response.
And you're backing up that claim by saying we will fight for every penny that you deserve from the insurance company. We will file the claim. So you are on the patient side. You're doing this not for the patient, and that's
certain patients. It's okay to say, Naren, unfortunately, Delta doesn't care one iota about your dental health. In fact, Delta hopes you never go to the dentist, because if you never go to the dentist, they never have to pay any claims. Right. Now, that isn't a standard communication to have, but that's a very appropriate conversation to have with some. And you know what? It really puts it in context. Delta, Naren, let's be blunt about it. Delta doesn't care one bit about your dental health. We do, but they don't. In fact, they hope you never go to the dentist, because if you never went to the dentist, they'd never have to pay any claims. Now, again, there's further ammunition or further talking points to put on your hip, that you might have with the right patient. With the right patient. But that heads up conversation is a very useful conversation for you, doctor, to just first discuss with your team. And then in the morning huddle, so help the team understand what that heads up conversation is, what it sounds like, how, help them develop some skills around that. And then in your morning huddles, start identifying patients you're going to have that heads up discussion. Hey, on the people on our schedule, here's the ones that we're going to have the heads up conversation, and then go through and decide who's going to have the conversation. I've got 16 team members at Life Smiles. So if you count Paul, Tim, and I, it's 19. I don't want 19 people having that conversation with the patient. I think that'd be like harassment. Right. But I also don't want 19 people assuming someone else is going to have the conversation. So decide who's going to do it. Very simple process.
So every single patient, let's say you're going to drop Delta, maybe 3 months from now. Then,
yeah.
So that means just be proactive in your morning huddle, decide who the Delta patients are and who's going to talk to who.
Hey, we've got 10 Delta patients today. Here they are. And let's decide who's going to have the heads up conversation with them so that we are kind of dealing with this on a daily basis. It's that old adage of taking it one step at a time. You're not going to talk to 1,000 Delta patients today. We're going to talk to the 10 that's on our schedule today, and bite by bite, just piece by piece, we're going to get that message out. And then when you do go out of network, you're simply following it. You're following up on the discussion that you had in the heads up conversation. Very
exactly. Almost like you're keeping a promise you made because we care about you, because we want to treat you like family. Remember, we have a conversation about this 2-3 months back.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, and I mean, I've even heard people. Well, you kind of gave me a heads up, doc. You told me it was coming. Yep, I get it. And this.
And I think the key is the respect. When we explain the reason why, and it's really for them, now they respect you even more. It actually, I think, strengthens the bond you have with the patient. It's almost like has the counter effect. It makes you even closer. I mean, that's why perhaps, in all your work, Gary, less than 10 to 15% of the patients ever leave the practice when your clients drop PPO plans.
What we're experiencing today is exactly what you said, Naren, in our coaching work. That when you do all your readiness, when you check off all of the readiness factors and you've done your preparation, you're going to keep 85 to 90% of your in-network patients. 85 to 90. We see it time and time again. I even had a wonderful discussion with a client recently where it had been about 10 months since she dropped the last plan, and I asked her to gather data for me. And when she came to that Zoom meeting to look at our data and analytics of what happened, she said, Gary, you told me when we started with this that if we did everything right, I was going to lose 10 to 15% of my in-network patients. And she said, don't take this the wrong way, but I didn't believe you. And I laughed because she's got a wonderful sense of humor. So I laughed. She said, no, I don't mean that in an insulting way, but I really didn't believe you. I thought I'd lose a lot more. And she's pretty good at math. And she said, I did the math and I figured I could lose many times more than that and still end up better off. But I did expect to lose more. And I have the data right here in front of me. Let me, drum roll, please. She said, we lost 12% of our in-network patients. She said, spot on. That means we kept 88% of them. You said 85 to 90, and that's exactly where we were.
Right.
So she said, I apologize for thinking that you were somehow wrong on this. He said, you were right. And that's what that was a wonderful conversation. She was very happy with those results. So that's what we find in practice after practice after practice when we've done all the steps. And when we prepared to do this properly, and we've been very mindful of the patient, we still do it in a very patient-friendly manner, letting them know they can still use their benefits here. We'll still advocate for you. We'll still submit. I like to use a term. We all know that term, the easy button, the red button. In fact, Naren, we still do the easy button for you. We submit your claims. We submit all the documentation. We'll follow up for it. It's like you hitting the easy button. Because frankly, that's what I would want if I was a patient in this practice. So that's what we're going to do for you.
Tie it back to, treating them like the way you want to be treated.
It's consistent messaging.
Mm-hmm.
And keep in mind that when we have those face-to-face conversations, we get let's bring it back full circle. You get the full value of the communication not just the words on a page.
Yes, because
So
they're seeing your expression, your genuineness,
yeah,
everything.
they feel it. They feel your genuineness. They feel your advocacy for them. They get it, and it really does allow that communication to be way more effective than anything you could do by letter or email. I mean, there it's partial communication at best. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Gary. This is the wonderful I Love Dentistry office hours. Appreciate it. I think a lot of people who are in this journey. By the way, the Reducing Insurance Dependence Academy has close to 300 members.
Yeah.
And it's like the first digital academy and also the first one dedicated to helping everyone on the journey of reducing insurance dependence. So,
and Aaron, this would be a good time to tell the I Love Dentistry community about our upcoming RITA summit. RITA is both a play on words. We want to help you get rid of PPO plans. I know that's not grammatically correct, but I do like the sound of it. And secondly, it's an acronym, Reducing Insurance Dependence Academy. And so we're doing our first summit coming up in November. Do you have the date, Aaron? It is November 12th, I believe.
12th. It's a Friday from November 12th from 12 p.m. Eastern Time to 6 p.m. Eastern Time. So 6 hours of CE. It's great content. You have some amazing lineup of people already.
We have some of the best minds in dentistry sharing information with you. It's free. Did I mention it's free?
Yes, you did.
It's free and it's virtual. We want to have you come and join it. If this is intriguing to you, or maybe you are on the path to reducing insurance dependence, this will be time well spent. You'll get all kinds of information that you can use the next day to help you successfully resign from PPO plans. The single most important strategic move you could make in your practice to improve the financial health of your practice. Come join us. It's a summit. It's virtual. It's easy. You can attend it from the comfort of your home, and budget friendly. It is free.
Absolutely. I'm going to put a link, Gary, so anybody who's interested can sign up right now. And like you said, it's free and it's 6 hours of CE.
Yeah, awesome.
Thank you so much, Gary, for your time today. And I also want to take a moment to thank everyone. We are approaching the 10,000 mark in terms of
We're closing in on 10,000 members of the I Love Dentistry community. Help us crest that hill.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.